I grew up in Southern California. We lived in Santa Fe Springs, which is about a half an hour from the beach, and we loved to go to the beach. In the 60s, the surfing craze was just beginning, and we had some crummy old surfboards that we could barely afford. We went surfing at every opportunity. Huntington Beach, Balsa Chica. We'd go all over Southern California looking for good waves. Till I was about 18 when it was all stopped short when I got the letter from the draft board saying, "Greetings, you're on your way to Vietnam, bring your toothbrush, you're not going home again." I went in 1968 at the height of the Vietnam War. I had some pretty horrible experiences. I was in the infantry, in the 25th Infantry around the Cu Chi area in Vietnam. The fishhook, they called it, near Cambodia. I can recall the first ambush I was in. I was carrying the machine gun. We were laying on a cemetery, which is raised up above the rice paddies and not wet. We were ambushing a trail, and some Viet Cong had come by, and we sprung our ambush, but they had seen us and started shooting back at us. I was shooting the machine gun as well as I could, but it jammed. And the man next to me was shot. Then shortly thereafter, the man on my left was also shot. But I was spared. It's not like TV. When people get shot, they make a lot of noise and they scream in pain. I can recall the bullets, the tracers in the night, coming and going, my jammed machine gun and my frustration and fear. And afterwards, I found myself just shaking in my boots, literally, because I had been spared when my friends had not. Years later, I came to realize that the many times that happened were probably no accident. I believe in my heart now, these many years later, that I was protected by a guardian angel. I was the only one I knew in my platoon who didn't get some kind of a wound. It was instructive to me that I had things to do. I was spared to do them. When I returned from that tour in Vietnam, you can imagine, as most people were in those days, kind of broken, kind of damaged. There was a family here in Texas, in Killeen at Fort Hood, who kind of adopted me. It was a friend that I met there was Bob Waits, and he was a wonderful man. And he and his fiance's family sort of wrapped their arms around me and healed me and made me a better person. They introduced me to the church. They were Mormons, and I wasn't. I had never been to church much at all in my life. Eventually, I moved away from Texas and back to California, and lived in San Francisco for a couple of years, and during that time attended the student branch at the Berkeley ward. And I had a roommate who helped me understand that just going along like that wasn't enough, and that I might have to make a commitment at some point. And so he challenged me to pray 20 times a day and to find out if the church was true or not. I had enough faith to accept that if I got an answer, that I would be able to live the church standards and so forth. And so I was praying 20 times a day. When the moment came that I realized it was true, and that God had actually reached down and answered my prayer, it was revelatory. It was beyond my expectations. I felt a burning in my bosom. I felt as if my hair was on fire, and I felt a joy and a happiness that there was more to this life than I had experienced. I thank God every day that I experienced my family and my grandchildren who are so precious to me. And it's been given to me to know that one of the reasons I was saved in Vietnam was so that I could have this family. Life is good. Life is a grand adventure. And in spite of the difficult beginnings, and maybe because of them, I know that the church is true. And this grand adventure is something I look forward to every day.